Welcome back to Fiery Love 1111. I'm here going to do a reading here on the Divine Masculine Collective. I did take the a few minutes of time to pull some cards ahead of time. And as you can see, I had already started to get into the energy. So, it's pretty intense. Um, It really is. So I started to get a bunch of feedback and then decided um, I'm just going to start reading the cards and then we'll get a little bit more clarifiers and get maybe some of these other decks in just a few minutes. Okay. Now, this first deck that I'm using is the Dark Mirror, and they're the Oracle cards. They're by Laura Sava. And then I'm also using some clarifiers from Gods and Titans. It's a very, very beautiful deck. And this just really helps to get into more concentrated energy into the Divine Masculine Collective. So now, as you're reading and listening to this video, if you feel like any of these things start to resonate for you or your divine masculine, then you are a part of this collective, okay? Because I know some people seem to get kind of, confused. They're not sure. How do you really tell? And, so you just take the messages as they resonate for you. Now, if there are some in here that don't resonate for you, then you just discard it, okay? Don't even worry about it, because not everything is going to resonate for every person. And maybe only some bits and pieces will resonate for your divine masculine, or maybe none of it. So don't try to make it work, okay? Like I said, it is for a certain specific collective out there that I'm tapping into. Now, this collective, Divine Masculine, Divine Masculines are within the same group as their Divine Feminine, okay? So these Divine Feminines, a lot of them already have awakened. They have, found within themselves their own power, but also resonate. And I don't mean that in an ego sense. I mean that in a sense that they have learned to tap into their own energy as a divine being, or the energy of source or universe, however you resonate with that, or even God, if you have a certain religious aspect, or Buddha, or Allah. Doesn't really matter. That part doesn't really matter. What matters is they help you connect to your divine source and the universe as a whole. Okay, we are made up of energy. We change all the time. These bodies that we're in are just avatars, pretty much, for this experience on Earth at this time. So, we do change and we do evolve. So with that being said, I'll get into the messages. And like I said, if you have any questions, any comments, please, comment below. I'd love to hear the comments. And I can delve in deeper too, if that helps you, okay? So the first few cards that popped out were pretty strong. This first one was hiding your true self. Now that came out sideways. So that tells me a lot. It tells me that their divine masculine, this collective, they're working on themselves. They're working on their inner darkness, their inner shadows, and they're trying to evolve from that. They're trying to learn the lessons from that and evolve as a higher soul. Now, because it's sideways, they are trying. They're not all the way there. Okay, they're not hiding anymore, but they're not revealing their true self. So see, it's a work in progress, and it's pretty beautiful. But because these messages are coming up that they're feeling alone in the world. This came up right side up. So they're feeling alone in the world because I see this as energy of the divine feminine collective are leaving them alone. They have stepped away and allowed their divine masculines to work on themselves. The energy that um, is between them is not compatible right now. So there's this energy of they're learning about themselves. These divine masculine are learning about themselves. So the divine feminines, for the most part, have already gone through this process, and so they know that there's still work to be done. And as these divine masculines rise into their power, they will be more aligned. But right now, they're just not. So they're feeling alone in the world because the divine feminine collective have stepped aside and just some walked away, some pretty much some are even blocking their energy specifically for that growth process to happen, or the growth or not, whatever is going on. It's what's best for them is the divine feminine collective is what they're feeling. They're looking back. This one card is pretty much resonating with divine feminine and divine masculine collective. As a divine masculine, if you were to resonate with this, they are feeling alone in the world. Now, as a divine feminine, they're just looking back, knowing that divine masculine collective are working on themselves. They're not hiding, their true selves completely, but they're not revealing either. So they just know it's just not, the energy just doesn't work for them. So they have to walk away. They have to walk away and give their divine masculine space to grow, to figure themselves out. But also in so doing, it has causing, a lot of rift and anxiety. So this, the divine masculine collective see their divine feminine as, this beautiful, beautiful energy and source of love and light for them. So when this card come up, this is the card, the temple of my body. And I don't, their energy within this card is just coming up upside down, and these claws are very prominent. They're clawing their way towards their divine feminine. They want the back, they want the back, they want the back, because there's a lot of fear in this energy. There's fear in this energy. It's not, they don't feel like they can appreciate their own bodies, their own spirits, their own souls right now, because the temple of their body was their divine feminine. Okay. So as these divine feminines step away and give their divine masculine space, like this one, they're stepping away, knowing that they have to go through the same process. I see this energy is just clawing. It's a very hurt energy. It's very, not sporadic, but it's an energy of, I can't think of the word, but there's a lot of pain in this energy that they're trying to reach for. There's a lot of like grasping. It's like, oh, I'm afraid that if I don't catch you, I'm going to die. I'm going to catch, if I don't catch you, I'm going to die. If we stay apart, I'm going to die. Now, this is a very deep subconscious energy. Okay. It's not, these divine masculines are not aware of it in the 3D self, but inside their energy is screaming for their divine feminine. They feel just terrified, but in a way, their higher self knows what they have to go through. So, it's a matter of getting the ego out of the way and allowing themselves to feel that pain and get through those shadows. So it's a huge, huge, huge work in progress. And then, these cards also came up, sacrifice, and the envious gluttony, that came up upside down, and this one came up the sacrifice. Now these are all the darker shadow energies that we're working on. So there's not going to be very many cards in here if any, that are a lighter energy, okay? This is all their dark shadows. This is what they're working on a very, very deep level. Now, when they come to the surface and they are aware of it in the 3D, that's when, pretty much it's like all hell breaks loose. That's what this one is. This envious gluttony, it doesn't have anything to do with food. It's a craving of this. It's a deep, deep, deep inner energy inside that they're craving to be better and match up and stand up and equal their divine feminine. They know what they deep down on an unconscious level, they know they can be worth this. They know they can be worth more. It's just a matter of working through these shadows and the sacrifice, what they have to do, what they have to let go of. This letting go of this ego is that sacrifice. It's because we're born in this 3D realm, in these bodies, we're raised to be very protective. So the ego is very protective energy. It's the survival mechanism. It survives. It was what drives our sexual energy, the compulsions. It's for shelter, food, water, safety, not being harmed on a physical, emotional, level. So it's breaking through all those energies to get to what they know they can be. So they're envious, that energy. They're just really working through all this dark, dark energy to try to match up, and as these feminines have walked away, they're realizing how much they were addicted to them. And not only that, but I see in this energy, energy of regret. It's energy of regret. It's energy of, here's gilded regret that came up. And there's also one more, so I want to try to hold them up together for you guys. So there's gilded regret, and there's addicted, and the artificial heart all came up at the same time. So that shows me that they're having this regret because they wish they were true to themselves, and not only true to themselves, but they wish they were true to their divine feminines. They were hiding, they were masking. It's a hiding, masking, false energy persona as a way to protect their ego. And that's all it was. And they're realizing this. They're slowly realizing this and trying to let it go. They're working on those shadows and trying to let it go. And then, the addicted is realizing how much they took them for granted. This is this energy right here down by his face is, they can't even express in words how they feel that they took their divine feminine for granted. And it's a very, very painful energy. Words can't express how they feel right now, but they're hoping, they want to one day. And this gilded regret is putting up this persona of just, letting that ego go and saying, look, you are important in my life. You are the most important thing in my life. It's, this is the ego. And until this ego gets shredded off, they can't fess up and tell their divine feminine how they really feel. This has to be released first. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to just adjust this camera a little bit. I just want you to see the cards more and not me, but it's not really working out very well. So, but yeah, can you see that? And then, forgetting oneself. This card came up sideways. So forgetting oneself. They deep down, I see these divine masculines as really feeling very much, it's all a surprising energy. So it's not technically forgetting oneself because they lost, they kind of forgot themselves, but because they lost themselves within their divine feminine, they fell fast and hard. And so they forgot themselves within their divine feminine. They became a part of them. And it was an energy that was very, very surprising. It was not, doesn't feel like it was planned to them, like it wasn't expected. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're hook, line, and sinker in love, and they don't know what hit them. So they forget themselves because they were so deeply, their heart was so connected to their divine feminine. Everything within that divine feminine energy resonated with them. Everything did. So now that the divine feminines have stepped away, they have to learn to realize, find themselves again. They have to find themselves again and see their own souls and spirits for the loving energy that they are. So it's sideways. So they're breaking kind of a little bit away of the divine feminine, but also finding themselves. So it's half and half. It's a work in progress, but they're getting there. It's not an upside down, and it's not a right side up. They're getting there. Okay, so it's a really strong energy. Now, these other ones that came out from the gods and titans, to clarify this hiding your true self. Okay, remember when I said they're learning more about themselves too, kind of like this, the forgetting oneself. They're, that regret of hiding themselves and not being true to themselves or true to their divine feminine, how this came up sideways. Well, the gods and titans cards are coming up, and sacrifice was in here, wisdom, and support. So, this wisdom came up upside down, and the support and sacrifice are in there. And it's because they're trying to find themselves again, they forgot to look within. Because this wisdom is upside down for a reason. The wisdom is showing upside down because they're forgetting that it doesn't come from without, it comes from within. And all they have to do to find their true selves and find the answers they're seeking is to go within. So this is something they still have yet to work on, is what this energy shows me. And then sacrifice and support, these are just energies that, they do have support surrounding them if they ask for it. So it's dropping that ego. And, as far as the divine masculine energy goes, that's very hard because they're used to doing things on their own, in their own way, on their own time. They don't like to ask for help. They like to do this themselves. So asking for wisdom is just right there if they just ask, and letting go of that ego is a part of it. And then the sacrifice, they're not sure. They're looking up. They are starting to think, if wisdom is right up here, they're starting to think that is that possible? Is that possible for me if wisdom's here? Is there a sacrifice? So I just sacrifice everything to get that. Like, they don't realize how easy it is. It's just going within. It's not a sacrifice. It's just a matter of taking the time and the quiet to go within, listening to the silence of wisdom. Listening to the silence of wisdom. It's not a sacrifice because it is inside. It's inside. So this divine masculine collective are working on that. It's a work in progress. There's a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of this is almost like a craving, searching, clawing. It's like a clawing energy, clawing, trying to find their way to the divine feminine. It's actually, this energy has made me nauseous and it's given me a headache. And this is all on an energetic level, okay? This is all the energy of these divine masculines. It's the energy that's surrounding them, within them, that they're learning to release within their spirit, within their soul. They're learning to release that. So, there's just a ton of work that's still needing to be done, because these divine feminines have left and walked away. It's not a permanent walking away, but they do feel very abandoned. It's in a very abandoned energy that they're feeling. They're feeling very alone, lost, not sure of what to do. But this Gods and Titans came up with this one. So, there is flow, there is energy that's available if they learn to just release that and get and try to see past that energy of feeling alone. Okay, and looking past that ego. The ego is what's keeping this energy here. The ego is what's tying you down, because it says if you search for it, you'll get hurt even more. So it's learning to release that ego, okay? And this, but the flow, the energy, the beautiful energy of wisdom is right here. The support, and wisdom is right here if they allow it. So getting past that ego, the ego, once you get past that ego, it's not, they're having this hard time realizing that it's beautiful and light and love on the other side, not pain. There's not pain, there's not sacrifice. It's love on the other side, but it's just right there. It's right there if they can just let that ego go. Okay. And these other energies came up to show just how much the work that they're doing. So Loki, the play, was upside down. They're really diving deep into their psyche, into their energy, their soul. There's not a lot of play. It's very a different energy than the Divine Feminine Collective. I can see the comparative kind of analysis, if you want to say it that way, because the Divine Feminine Collective was very emotional, but this is very deep. There's no play. It's very serious. They take it very serious, but it's still an energy they have to get past. That ego is still an energy they have to get past. So, in order to do that, there's a lot of destroying that has to be done. This destroying that ego, getting past it, just really fighting through that ego to see, the beauty that's on the other side. The beauty is their divine feminine. It's not only beauty to get past that ego, it's beauty of their divine feminine. That's who they're fighting for in a very, very, very deep level. Okay, it's almost a super conscious level. They really have to dig deep and destroy that ego in order to get to this energy. Okay, so still a work in progress. All they can think about is getting back to that, getting back to their divine feminine. Fighting. Here, I'll pull this card back up. Fighting, clawing their way. If you really concentrate on this card, on this energy, the claws are prominent in this. They really just, that's all they can think about, is getting back to the beauty of their divine feminine. That's what they want. That's all they can see, and getting to them, traveling, finding a way to find them, get to them however they can. And it's not just a physical, 3D hop in my car drive kind of thing. It's the energy of searching on the internet, searching for, social media, searching for phone numbers, friends, anything, like a very desperate. That's the energy right here. Sorry, I couldn't connect that word. Very desperate, clawing energy. And this is very not 3D, but very, it's a subconscious energy that's coming through. So it's getting close to getting to the 3D because they're the fear. They still have to work so hard to destroy that ego. But they just want to connect with their divine feminine, the beauty of their divine feminine. They want to connect and find them. So travel is finding their divine feminine, because that's what gives them the comfort. That's what gives them the love, and the last ones that came up with war and power. This is what energy, they're starting to realize what they're fighting for all along, right? They're fighting, the pieces are starting to come together. Like they realize, okay, if there's anything in this freaking world I'm going to fight for, it's my divine feminine. That's who I'm fighting for. The old 3D paradigm of, fighting for your income, fighting for, wealth, money, status, blah, 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 house, food, none of that matters. That, because they're fighting through that ego, destroying their ego, they're learning to realize this is what I want to fight for. The beauty of their divine feminine is who they want to fight for. That's who it is. And they're finding that power within themselves. Ra is power. It is finding that power within themselves to destroy that ego and connect back with the beauty of their divine feminine, the beauty of they're starting to realize just how almost ethereal their connection is, because it's more than a 3D connection. It's more than the body. It's more than the physical body and the touch and taste and kiss and all that. It's more than that. It's an energy of, you are my other half. And this is energy that it's seeping to the surface. It's a seeping to the surface energy that they're just, oh my gosh, if when they get to this point, it's going to be unstoppable. It's going to be ridiculously unstoppable, and then I just wanted to show you as a clarifier, the bottom of the deck was guidance. So, there is that guidance right there under the surface. Under the surface is right there, this Odin, the guidance, any wisdom that they need is right there. And it's just barely under the surface. And then the top card was the inquiry, it's right there. They just have to inquire into themselves, within themselves, to have all, the guidance and wisdom and power that they need. It's right there. And they're learning that. They're putting those pieces together to get those answers that they need, and realizing that it is actually within them. So there's a lot of falling away. The ego's falling away. Bits and pieces are falling away in order for their true powerful energy source to rise up and be that powerful divine masculine that they know they can be. So it's really a beautiful energy. There's a lot of work, there is a lot of work. So divine feminines, if you're watching this and you're feeling very, very separate from your divine masculine, and all of a sudden, if you start to feel like you're going to cry or lost or, angry, things like that, your energy's probably, the divine masculine's energy seeping into yours. So, do a little bit of, sending them love. Sending them love will help. It really will help, as much as they can, because, we've already been through a lot of this, and now it's their turn. And they just do it in a different way. They're learning the same lessons, just in a different way. So, it's just being patient. It's being patient. And sending our divine masculines, love and light. And that's how they can get through that, So there it is. There you have it. Now I do hope that you Really enjoyed these messages, and I'm going to come back on in just a little bit. I'm going to do another reading on a different, um, another one. Maybe we'll get into the divine feminine and see how they're doing. Okay. All right, guys. I love you. Take care. All right. Bye.